Alright. Hello, you wonderful beings. Today I actually. Wow. It's one of the few days where I don't know what to talk about. But not because I'm not in the mood of talking, but because it's just such a nice and quiet and relaxed day. And the mind is almost empty. So it's paradoxically the most ideal state to draw or to paint pictures. So maybe this can be kind of the topic for today. That we are oftentimes in the hunt, in the collecting mode, looking for new motives and new content to put into pictures or artworks or whatever, when actually for me personally, the perfect state is an empty state. It's like being this white paper, that untouched paper that waits to be filled. So painting might actually be some kind of emptying. And depending on how filled you were, it might take a time till you're empty, or till you sit there and be like, oh man, I have no ideas, and that's actually amazing. So I mean, it's really different from being like, I don't know what to draw because there are so many ways to go. There's a very fine line between like having a creative blockage and being empty. So I really can recommend to take the inside of that vessel, of that creative vessel, and put it somewhere, whether on a canvas or on a paper or in a recording. And when everything is out, start from there. See what comes out. And I think when you start doing artworks, when you're empty, it is like being live. It's like having a live transmission, because there's no past footage or past content you're collecting from, that you're filtering or that you're recycling. It is like your antennas are out and you just let it flow. And maybe your image will show it. Maybe your image will represent the silence or that space. Maybe people can feel it when they look at it and see that you are kind of empty. And that doesn't mean that it has to be the most unique and new picture that the world has ever seen. It's more a very, very personal relationship you're having with that picture. And I think it's a very interesting approach to not think that you can invent anything that is new, but to see that everything is there already and you can just interpret it. And very often in our Western society, many people start projects with the intention of creating something completely new. And it might be also, I'm just saying it might be, a root of the suffering or the consumerism that we're facing today, or one of the roots. So they're actually it's very, very interesting because the Egyptians, or I should say in Kemet, they used to say that everything that you perceive, everything that is, they basically said, under the heavens, is not to be reinvented. So it's already there. Everything is already in here. Whatever you do, whatever you're trying to invent, it was, and will always be within this realm. So I think that's a very nice and very humble approach to life. And that does not exclude evolution. It does not exclude that we can still grow and master things. But I think it gets you closer to how serious nature actually is, and how nature is also still perfecting itself without acting like it is inventing something completely new. And I'm sure you know, I think the best example for that are these whole deep sea documentaries that are just like, I don't know, it's just like a different planet when you look at them, and you just, something within you is triggered, and it's like, oh, okay, this is deep. There's like, it's so much creativity basically going on down there, and you're wondering like, how can nature come up with all of that? It's so simple, and yes, it's very complex. It doesn't mean like, oh, if everything's already here, I can't invent anything new. I think it's not what they meant in Kemet, but I think it's more about being humble and see that whatever you do, whatever you can do, or whatever you want to create in the future, it has to be based on something. It needs to have its roots somewhere. And I think it's nice that your roots kind of become visible when the vessel is empty. So, or maybe empty is not the right metaphor here. Maybe it's the channels are unclogged or something that is really like, just when you have some pipes in the sewer and there's somebody coming to clean them, and basically the pipes were full of sci-fi robots and anime girls, and someone is like, man, there's kind of a lot of junk in here. Like we want some fresh water, and it might be a better metaphor to see it as a channel that gets unclogged. So you have this live stream, this direct connection. Yeah. So and it's kind of funny to see how deep the sewer actually is, how much of things there were clogged, how much of pipes there were clogged, and basically how much how complex the sewer is, and how wonderful it is when the waters are flowing through. So, like, please understand that I don't consider myself empty. So for me, I'm always amazed how long the mind and the body actually take to arrive in a certain state to say they're empty. I mean, even our transition from Europe to Central America to live here and let the whole like organism arrive here, it takes time. Like, it's just 2 weeks, and every day I'm still like, wow, okay, today I kind of arrived. Today I'm here, and like it's as if every day there's some aspects that are coming back and that are calming down, and realizing, okay, I can settle now. I'm here now. So yeah, I'm amazed how much time it takes, and I realized also that talking about the time that some things need, then we sometimes we try to grow when actually growing is something that also happens naturally. But we can at least set the direction or the intention of where we want to go, and then let the growing happen. Because I'm at this time I'm really convinced that slow growth is the only real growth existing, and there's no way around growth, or there's no skipping parts of the ladder. You kind of automatically use every step if you allow it. For example, if I would want to become better at proportions, I think that might be a good topic now, because the proportions of the figure I'm drawing in these pictures aren't quite right yet. But it might be a good topic, because proportions are something that you can learn them. You can school your eye and say, okay, I get better at seeing and drawing figures. I get better at seeing and drawing trees or whatever, and it will get better. But you are not. Don't consider you the one who's getting better, and that makes things so much easier. It's like having an employee and saying to him, like, yeah, just do it, and eventually things will take care of itself, as long as you stick to it, as long as you just draw it and continue observing it. And that doesn't mean you lay back and sit back. It's so easy to misunderstand that. It's so easy. So it doesn't mean you're like, okay, so I will get better, I don't have to do anything. No, you can just basically change the perspective on how the getting better actually works. So if you really develop an understanding of that, your learning gets so much more efficient. You're stepping back and let this, I would say, natural flow make its work, you know. And there are crazy scriptures where you know, very advanced, I would say ancient psychologists actually talk about that. They say that nature has an extremely structured approach to things. It's everything else than random. It's not random. It's really structured and even and steady and consistent. And the more we surrender to that approach, and let this approach develop itself or have its own evolution, we can accelerate our learning in such massive levels, although it's still at a natural speed, although it's still the natural slow growth. What I would say is the only healthy and the only real growth. It's slow. Yes, and I know it sounds paradox that when we say the more we surrender to it, the faster we learn, because we're so obsessed in our cultures with fast and how faster or whatever crazy things they invented there. So yeah. Yeah, I think that's all I have to say for today. Thank you very much for tuning in this little tuning into this little meditation. I could say that. Yeah, and I hope you could resonate with some of the things, and much love.